It's hard to believe it's already been a year since the 10th running of the Thanksgiving 500, which saw Matthew Hubert go to victory lane in his first ever start. We are ecstatic to have him back for this year's event here in 2025, and we're ecstatic to be back once again at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway on Thanksgiving Eve, here to qualify for the 2025, the 11th running of the NR2003 Thanksgiving 500. Of course, we don't do any normal qualifying for this race. We do two races, and these are set up by the order in which everyone signed up, and whichever race is fastest gets the inside lane, and how they finish in these qualifiers here tonight is how they will start in their respective lanes for tomorrow's 11th running of the Thanksgiving 500. We're here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, two 10-lap races here tonight. After tonight, we also got ourselves the Coca-Cola 100K and the Body Armor Pro Series joining us at 9. So a lot of great racing here tonight from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, here for the Thanksgiving 500 qualifiers in 2025. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, canonically in Concord, Massachusetts. Once again, we are here for the Thanksgiving 500. Of course, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, is the big race. It is hard to believe that it's already back again. It doesn't seem that long ago when we saw Matthew Hubert go to victory lane, and he, of course, is back this year as well. He'll be starting on the pole for the second qualifier here tonight. But we're going to see how these races shake out here under the lights of the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And the big thing each year when we have the qualifiers at night and then the race during the day is that the qualifiers at night are way more wild than the races during the day. And of course, the race is always great, so tune in for that. It's going to be a good one. But tonight, these guys are going to be going all over the place. They're going to be hitting the wall. They're going to be scraping. We may see a couple of wrecks here tonight, and especially once we get to the Body Armor Pro Series race coming up here a little bit later on. But it's going to be a lot of fun seeing who wins the pole for this Thanksgiving 500. Of course, the way it goes is the order in which they finish is how they will line up in their respective lane, and whichever race has the fastest average miles per hour, they're going to get the inside lane to start for tomorrow's 50-lap event. So pretty straightforward and simple, and of course, this is kind of a newer thing. We've done this the past couple of years doing the dual races. It's a lot of fun doing these qualifiers, have a little bit of something to look forward to on Thanksgiving Eve. And of course, tomorrow we got ourselves the big race at 10 a.m. Joined alongside Caleb Rose for the call of this event here tonight. And Caleb, this is a race where these guys don't have anything to lose in terms of the main event. Of course, we saw in the Indianapolis 250 earlier this year, which is a much harder race to win, Brendan Wilmington win from the 33rd and last starting position. This being a super speedway, you can move your way from 42nd all the way up to the lead. But with all that being said, what are these guys looking for here tonight? Of course, both of these qualifiers, they are good for a race win towards the channel. Nicholas Sambadio, one race win behind Blaine Keys. He could get that here tonight, maybe even win tomorrow. What is at stake for these guys, and what are they looking for to learn here tonight from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway?
Well, like you mentioned, while there might not be that much at stake here tonight, these guys still going to be focusing a lot on this race win. Of course, you definitely got the bragging rights up there up for grabs, as well as just the momentum going into the main race tomorrow afternoon, which will definitely be a very, very fun race to watch. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these qualifying races play out. Of course, like you mentioned, these are going to be absolutely wild. Once the sun sets at this racetrack, the grip just entirely goes away. These guys will be slipping and sliding all around this racetrack, getting into the outside wall. So this is definitely going to be a race of attrition here tonight at what has turned into a very technical Coca-Cola Superspeedway. I'm definitely excited to see how it all plays out. It's going to be very interesting to see who we see up towards the front here in these qualifiers, and eventually what the starting lineup for the main event tomorrow might look like.
And of course, where you start doesn't necessarily translate too much to where you finish in this race. But it's still cool to win the pole for the Thanksgiving 500. Maybe not as cool as winning the pole for the Indianapolis 250, but still, it's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, this is one of the crown jewel events on the channel. Of course, the big three of the Daytona 500, the Indianapolis 250, and this Thanksgiving 500. And I think we can now include the Christmas Eve Showdown in the mix there as well, which that's going to be coming up in less than a month. But this is a huge race. It's going to be the 11th running tomorrow morning. And starting on the pole position is the guy who won this thing 8 years ago, and if you were around at the time, how can you forget that moment? Nicholas Sambadio blew up just before he crossed the start-finish line. He still got the race win, and really that was the moment he became Mr. Edge. And 31 wins on the channel. Here he is looking for number 32 here tonight, and looking for his second Thanksgiving 500 race victory. Nobody has ever won this race twice. It is the only Crown Jewel event where no one has won twice before. We got Nicholas Sambadio and Matthew Hubert, the only two returning race winners of this event here this year, and 40 other drivers looking to get their first Thanksgiving 500 tomorrow morning. But with that, here is the starting lineup for the first qualifier of the night. We got ourselves Mr. Edge, of course, on the pole, number 8, as he always is for the first qualifier. And, of course, he won this race 8 years ago, like we mentioned. And he has more wins than Matthew Hubert, so he gets to start first in the first qualifier. And then the rest of the starting lineup for these qualifier events determined by the order in which everyone signed up. And Sarah Taylor in the number 93 was the first one to sign up, behind you, Caleb. But, you relinquish your ride there for another driver. We'll get into that in the second qualifier. Row number 2 sees Justin Zaidel and Ace Garcia, both of those drivers in their 7th running of this race. And they've been around for a long time. I know both of them would love to go to victory lane for once, finally, in this Thanksgiving 500 this year. Number 77 of Jack Haas, his first ever running in this race, won the Christmas Eve showdown a year ago, though, in controversial fashion. We'll see if we rectify that in about a month's time. But Jack Haas running the first time here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. He's alongside Eric Monaco, a Thanksgiving 500 veteran, in his 5th running of this race. We got the 0-1 machine. That is Carson Miller in his first ever running of the Thanksgiving 500, to the inside of BB Ruiz in the number 9, running his 2nd running of this race. The number 90 is Marcus Glitch, recently won the finale in the Body Armor Light Series West, and he's running his first ever Thanksgiving 500 alongside the number 50 of Matt Black, running in his 2nd. The number 44 machine of Zachary Fitzwater. Of course, his 6th running in this race, his first one, though, in a couple of years, and great to have him back. He's also going to try to tie Blaine Keys for the all-time wins list. He's still at 31 career wins on the channel. Won the Haas IndyCar Series Championship this year. And I know this is a race he'd love to win. He was in the very first Thanksgiving 500 10 years ago. Alongside him, the number 31 machine of Isaac Nichols. His first running in this race since 2020, and his 4th running in the Thanksgiving 500 tomorrow. We got the number 1 of Bryce Egan, who has never won a race on the channel, by the way. And I have a good feeling about him possibly getting his first career win either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Mauricia Vebalist alongside him there in that row. Mauricia Vebalist in her 2nd Thanksgiving 500. Max Davis in the number 6, starting alongside the number 18 of Tanner Parton. Max Davis in his first ever running of the Thanksgiving 500, and Tanner Parton is in his 2nd, but his first in 3 years. We got the number 12 machine of Tyler Jericho, has been tearing it up in the Turkey Hill Truck Series, and tearing it up with Andrew Williams. We'll get to that in the second qualifier as well. Alongside the number 94, Bernardo de Oliveira, in his first ever running of this Thanksgiving 500. Got the number 11 machine, Marcus De Jesus, the only driver in this field making his first career start on the channel. Of course, this race has been won by a first-timer a couple of times before. We'll see if Marcus De Jesus can do that tomorrow in the Thanksgiving 500 alongside the number 10 of Thomas Troxel in his 8th running of this race. And in rounding out the 21-car field for qualifier number 1, you got Josh Marzak there in the 22 at the back of the field. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here for 10 laps in qualifier number 1 of the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. And of course, this racetrack, a 3-mile long super speedway here in New England. It is a wild racetrack, as you very well know, Caleb, and I know we're excited to see how this race and the next race after this shake out. But as always, I got to ask you, who do you think's going to go to victory lane here in qualifier number 1? You've actually won a qualifier race before in the Thanksgiving 500, so you know how to do it. How do you think this is going to shake out here tonight at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway?
Like I said, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this race ends up playing out. Definitely going to be quite the race of attrition here in these qualifying races to try and keep these cars just out of the outside wall. But, you know how I often say about super speedways, just throwing a dart at the dartboard, seeing what sticks. But honestly, I think I'm going to go with that number 31 of Isaac Nichols. His first Thanksgiving 500 attempt since 2020. Very nice to see him back. And he's honestly got a lot of momentum coming into this race with what he's done over in the Wawa Cup Series and currently in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. He definitely has not lost his mojo, and I'd definitely be looking out for that 31 car at not only tonight's qualifiers, but in the main race as well.
And Isaac Nichols has been doing an excellent job over in the Truck Series, like you said, and he might be right about something there with Isaac Nichols. But here's the thing about the Thanksgiving 500, and this is never going to change about this race. It's an equal ratings race. We don't have any ratings in the cars or in the drivers. Everyone's got the same exact thing coming into this thing, so anyone can win, and that applies for tomorrow as well. Once we get the main event started for 50 laps, anybody can win this race, and we've seen anybody win this race. This race has been won by a first-timer 3 times before. Will it happen tomorrow with Marcus De Jesus? We'll see. This is officially his first ever start here tonight, as we welcome you, and we are welcome to have you here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway on Thanksgiving Eve here in 2025. 11 years of this race, and we're still going strong. It's great to be back for the Thanksgiving 500, and here we go. Nicholas Samadillo and Sarah Taylor on the front row for qualifier number 1 to see who gets the pole position for the Thanksgiving 500. And a good start there for Nicholas Samadillo. There's the inside lanes where you want to be. In turn number 1, you're going to see these guys going all over the place, and they'll be using all this racetrack all the way up to the wall here tonight. They won't necessarily do that tomorrow, as Eric Monaco's in the wall just a little bit right there, going to fall back for just a little bit. And you got the 77 of Jack Oz already going for the race lead on Nicholas Samadillo. Carson Miller on the inside lane there as well. We got the number 6 machine here on the inside. That's Max Davis. The 12 machine on the way inside lane, and you have some of these guys hit this outside wall. Sarah Taylor up there in the 93 machine. The 50 machine's in the outside wall too. And this is a trouble spot right here off of turn number 2. As around goes the 99 on Mauricio Vebalist. And that's going to be a hard hit there in the attenuator for the 99.
Oh my goodness.
And, we said at the top of the show that this is a race where you have nothing to lose. Of course, the downside for Mauricio Vebalist, and maybe even the downside for the rest of this field, because if the second qualifier goes caution-free, they're going to get the inside lane, they're going to get the pole. Mauricio Vebalist is probably going to start in the last position for tomorrow's Thanksgiving 500 based on that. But get the bad luck out of the way early on. That might be the way to go there, but not really a surprise to see a wreck that early on here in qualifier number 1. Jack Haas is your race leader with Carson Miller, Ace Garcia, and the 44, Zachary Fitzwater, moved his way up pretty well. Nicholas Samadillo there in the 5th position. How about those 3 guys? Ace Garcia, Zachary Fitzwater, Nicholas Samadillo. There's some of the longer running drivers in this event. Well, wild start to the first qualifier. Just going to be a quick caution. Then we're going to get back to racing. Let's see what happened to the driver of the number 99 to bring it out here in qualifier number 1 of the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. Well, you're going to see right here, Matt Black is already in the outside wall. Mauricio Vebalist gets up in the marbles, or what would be the lighter part of the racetrack, where there's just no grip up there at all. We haven't run enough races for there to be any marbles up there yet. And they get together off the exit of turn 4, and that sends the 99 around. That is all that happens. Mauricio Vebalist just gets sent around, and normally this would not have been much of an issue, but she spun around at the absolute worst spot and slid right to where the pit road wall begins. And this isn't the first time that we have seen this here. Coca-Cola will not be the last. Right on the nose there in the attenuator for the number 99, and she's going to finish in the last position here in qualifier number 1. Tough break there from Mauricio Vebalist. Tough break for Matt Black and those guys who got in the outside wall in that first lap. But this racetrack at night will eat you alive sometimes, and that is exactly what happened to those drivers there.
Through turns 3 and 4 here, Black's going to get into the outside wall. Vebalist just gets a little too high on the racetrack. They make contact off of 4. And around goes the number 99, Mauricio Vebalist, and bang! Right into the pit road attenuator. Just wrong place, wrong time there for the 99, Mauricio Vebalist. There for, I guess, both parts of the accident, which is definitely a really tough break there for her. And honestly, kind of just a tough break for all these guys, because it's really going to plummet the average speed of this qualifier, which could definitely give you guys over in the second qualifier a good shot at potentially getting the fastest time, but And we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out, but regardless of what does go down, we're going to have a restart here in qualifier number 1.
So you may notice a couple of things here. The frame rate's better, and it looks like it's during the daytime. You can infer what happened when we tried to record this, but hopefully, once we get to qualifier number 2, our frame rate's going to be back to how it should be. So apologies for the technical difficulties. Getting them out of the way, just like Mauricio Veblis is getting out of the way here tonight. So let's go ahead, move on to the rest of qualifier number 1 here from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And we are back here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway for qualifier number 1 of the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. And a wild start to this race. Mauricio Veblis is out of it in the number 99 after getting into the attenuator there at the pit road wall. 20 drivers still on the lead lap trying to get as many positions as they can, and of course if we go caution free in qualifier number 2, then that essentially guarantees that they're going to get the inside lane, because these guys had a caution in their race that's going to slow them down. But still, a front row start and a race win. An AG the Channel win is up for grabs. And you got Jack Haas, Carson Miller, Ace Garcia, Zachary Fitzwater, and Nicholas Samedi. Caleb, I haven't given you enough time to talk yet. What's your thoughts so far on what we've seen here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway? A lot of what we expected early on here at Coca-Cola.
Yeah, definitely quite the chaotic start there. An unfortunate exit there for the 99 and Mauricio Veblis, but definitely probably lifted a bit of weight off the shoulders of the guys over in qualifier number 2, because if they can keep it clean, that should be pretty much a guaranteed front row start. However, we could still see cautions in the second race. We could still see cautions in this race, considering how chaotic that start was, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But got the 77 Jack Haas going to be restarting here on the front row with, I believe, coming to 7 laps to go.
And of course, there'll be 7 green flag laps, assuming they don't wreck again from here on out. So 2 laps of caution to clean up what happened to the 99. 20 drivers still on the lead lap, and maybe we can finally get this one going, get some racing underway here from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Good jump there for Jack Haas, ahead of Carson Miller and the 20 of Ace Garcia. Ace Garcia not wasting any time, and Ace Garcia is a guy who has been in this race for so many years, and I know he would love to get a Thanksgiving 500 race victory. And I know this guy would love to get a Thanksgiving 500 race victory as well. Zachary Fitzwater, the most synonymous name with NR Offline, and such an honor to have him a part of the channel for all these years. What a win it would be tomorrow if Fitzwater could get it done. But Jack Haas holding on to the race lead for now. Here comes Ace Garcia once again. He is going for it here on lap number 4. And one thing about the night version of Coca-Cola, you can actually keep the race lead for a little bit as long as you get everyone behind you in a certain way. But that might be kind of hard considering how these guys are already going 4 wide for the second position.
Guys are absolutely fanning it out as Jack Haas in the 77, I believe, might have just caught the outside wall coming off of turn 4. Lost quite a bit of momentum, and they are freight training by him right now pretty much about everywhere you look. But that's going to allow these top couple of guys to pull away just a little bit. You got Ace Garcia currently leading the way as Haas is in the wall again. Yeah. And this isn't just going to cost him a bit of momentum. That's going to completely destroy the momentum of both the 77 and the 01 there of Carson Miller. So they could potentially maybe even lose the draft, which is definitely a tough break for them. But yeah, already starting to see it now. These guys spreading out a little bit. Still got a couple of packs of cars, but a lot of these guys are single filing out because they know just how non-existent the grip is right now. But Max Davis not going to let that stop him as he tries to take a peek to the inside of the 44 Zachary Fitzwater. We got more guys, including the 8 of Nicholas Samedi, slamming the wall there after turn 4.
Yeah, that was Bryce Egan back there that tapped the outside wall. Samedi did so. Of course, you had Matt Black and Sarah Taylor do it before the caution came out. I think it actually was Matt Black that got into the outside wall, came down on Mauricio Veblis in that wreck. So we're already halfway through qualifier number 1. And of course, this is a much different racetrack than what we're going to see tomorrow in the Thanksgiving 500. But some of these guys are going to be in the Pro Series race here in less than an hour, including Samedi, including Jack Haas. And, you know, they're probably learning a lot about this racetrack right now. And here we go. Zachary Fitzwater with some momentum to the inside of Ace Garcia, but a lot of momentum there for BB Ruiz in the 9. Now you also got the 11 machine trying to get on the inside lane as well. That's Marcus De Jesus, first career start on the channel here tonight. And with 4 laps left to go, he's got a shot at possibly getting the race victory. You got the 18 machine there. Tanner Parton's up here. You got the 90 of Marcus Glitch. All these guys have an opportunity at getting this race victory. And there goes the 11 of Marcus De Jesus to the race lead. here on lap number 7.
How about De Jesus in his first career start to the inside for the leader in qualifier 1? A couple more cars to the outside wall there off of turn number 2. That's a 20 of Ace Garcia fading back there as they nearly go 4 wide here down the back straightaway, but Jesus, not enough momentum there on the inside. Ruiz will keep the leader for the time being. Back down at the inside goes 11 through 3 and 4, but he slips up, and that's opening the door for the 18 of Tanner Parton to take it 3 wide for the lead.
Ace Garcia slipped back. You know, it's almost a bad thing to be the race leader. Jack Haas led early. Ace Garcia led early. And they're now outside the top 15 and have tapped the outside wall in this race. You got the guy who started dead last in this race, going 4 wide for third, Josh Marzak, and here's your pick to win, Isaac Nichols, as BB Ruiz is now in the outside wall once again. The race leader, Tyler Jericho, getting up there, De Jesus as well. And it's the 18 machine, Tanner Parton, leading this field with 2.5 laps to go at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. Here comes Josh Marzak, and they're 5 freaking wide going down the backstretch here at Coca-Cola.
That would have definitely been a choice if they stayed 5 wider coming into 3 and 4, but they do fan it back down. They're still maybe thinking about, oh boy, still thinking about 4 wide there as De Jesus gets into the outside wall off of turn 4. Josh Marzak going last to first here in the qualifier, trying to hold on. He's got 2 more laps to go. He's got some hungry cars behind him. Got Tanner Parton with help from the 31 of Isaac Nichols. They're fighting behind him. You got the 90 and the 94 of Marcus Glitch and Bernardo de Oliveira, respectively. You also got the 10 up here as well.
How about Thomas
Nichols
Troxel?
almost caught the wall there off of turn 2. And yeah, Thomas Troxel, a well-established channel veteran here at this point, looking for the win here in qualifier number 1. Well, we still got a lot of guys up here that could be in contention to win this, but this is definitely going to be an interesting final lap.
No doubt about it. Fitzwater's still up here as well. Max Davis has been strong in this race. Nicholas Sanbedillo's run a relatively clean race. Is that 10 machine? And that got very close there between Isaac Nichols and Thomas Troxel. A couple of longtime veterans right there, as it's the white flag for Josh Marzak in the number 22. Who I don't believe has won a race on the channel. I don't know. It's been a long time for him, but he may not win this one. Tyler Jericho, or should I say, Tanner Parton, not Tyler Jericho, in the 18, looking to the inside for the race lead, and you got Marcus Glitch up here as well, looking to steal it, but Marzak was able to hold the outside lane on the 18 machine. And this is what I was talking about. Once you get single file like this, it can get very difficult for a single car to make a pass. And it's 2 more corners to go for Josh Marzak in his attempt to win this first qualifier and start on the front row for tomorrow's Thanksgiving 500, and he is going to do it. Josh Marzak from last to first to win qualifier number 1 here in the 2025 Thanksgiving 500.
How about that for Josh Marzak? Pretty sure made his grand return to the channel here in this race a year ago. And this time around, in it once again, and it comes full circle as he wins qualifier number 1. Great stuff there for Josh Marzak.
And a very good race out of Josh Marzak. And the challenges that we saw in this race we're not going to see tomorrow. So this may prove to be a good couple of days for the driver of the number 22. At the very worst, he will start second tomorrow. Odds are he probably will start second. Lots of times, one of these races is wild, the other one is clean, so we'll see if that ends up being the case. But Josh Marzak wins qualifier number 1 here in the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. And that is how they finish, and that is how they'll line up. Most likely on the outside lane. Keep in mind the miles per hour there, 162.986. So as long as qualifier number 1 is faster than that, whoever wins that race will win the pole for the Thanksgiving 500. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. But I tell you what, that was a wild one right there, and we're going to have a lot of racing like this throughout the night between the next qualifier and the Coca-Cola 100K coming up. But how about Josh Marzak getting it done here in qualifier number 1 to get a front row start in the 2025 Thanksgiving 500?
It said really good stuff there for Josh Marzak, and definitely an interesting way to start the night out here. Of course, had that caution flag, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how duel number 2 goes. Maybe we'll see a plot twist. Maybe this one was the clean one. We'll have to just see how it all ends up shaking out, but nice stuff there for Josh Marzak. Like you said, no matter what happens in the next duel, at the very least, he has locked up a front row start for the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. So definitely a fun way to start things out, and nice to see Josh Marzak go into victory lane.
No doubt about it. So Tanner Parton will start in the second row. Marcus Glitch will start in the third row. Bernardo de Oliveira will start in the fourth row. Zachary Fitzwater will start in the fifth row. Max Davis will start in the sixth row. Isaac Nichols will start in the seventh row. Nicholas San Medea will start in the eighth row. Marcus De Jesus will start in the ninth row. Justin Zaidel will start in the 10th row. Thomas Troxel will start in the 11th row. Ace Garcia will start in the 12th row. Bryce Egan will start in the 13th row. Tyler Jericho will start in the 14th row. Eric Monaco will start in the 15th row. BB Ruiz will start in the 16th row. Carson Miller will start in the 17th row. Sarah Taylor will start in the 18th row. Jack Haas will start in the 19th row. Matt Black will start in the 20th row. And Mauricio Vebelis will be in the last row to start for the Thanksgiving 500. But we saw Josh Marzak go from last to first in the 10-lap race. Mauricio Vebelis could easily do the same thing tomorrow in the 50-lap Thanksgiving 500. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. All right, let's get the bugs worked out, move on to qualifier number 2, and see who gets the second race victory of the night here from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. And we are back, and better than ever. We fixed the frame rate issue, and hopefully we have fixed a lot of the other issues that we had there in qualifier number 1, and we're going to have ourselves a great qualifier number 2 here. And this is the qualifier that features the defending winner of the Thanksgiving 500. Great to have the defending winner back in this event. We did not have that last year. I don't think we had that the year before either, or the year before that. It's been a while. It's been a long time since the defending winner of this race has returned. Great to have Matthew Hubert back. And I knew when he won this race a year ago that he would be back here for this year's event. And he gets to start on the pole position here in qualifier number 2. So the time these guys are looking to beat, 162.986. Caleb, very simple if they don't wreck, but if they do wreck, how in the world did they end up beating that time and getting that inside lane for the main event tomorrow on the Thanksgiving 500?
Well, if these guys do wreck, then this could potentially turn into an all-out brawl, because, of course, that first qualifier had that one wreck, and they were able to keep it clean to the end, but we'll have to see what does end up going down here in qualifier number 2. If they can keep it clean and green, like I said, should be just about guaranteed these guys will start on the inside lane. Whoever wins this qualifier will start on the pole position. But yeah, if they do end up causing a caution and do end up having a restart and a slowdown in this race, then it could definitely turn very, very interesting very, very quickly.
It's going to be fun. We'll see if we can get through the first lap without a wreck. If that ends up being the case, generally these guys can keep it clean. And, you know, it's something to think about later on tonight in the Bodyhammer Pro Series race. And you know how that championship battle is going on, Caleb, with Blaine Keys only having 23 points on Rogel Dorn. Neither of those guys are in this year's Thanksgiving 500, but we got some of those guys who are going to be in that race at 9 p.m. tonight who are in this qualifier event, including Matthew Hubert in the number 26. Last year's Thanksgiving 500 champion. He gets to lead us to the green flag in qualifier number 2. Always an honor to be on the front row for a qualifier, because that means that you've won it before, or most likely have won it before if you're starting on the pole for one of these races. And, of course, Hubert in that 26 machine, the same ride he won this race with last year, starting first here in qualifier number 1. Qualifier number 2. My gears are just all backwards right now. We just got to get it all out tonight so that tomorrow we have a great presentation for you, and we will. Duncan Ward is back, our Wawa Cup Series champion, in his second Thanksgiving 500 alongside Matthew Hubert there in row number 1. You got the number 40. By the way, this is the only Dodge in this car set in this field. It's always been the case. When we ran this car set for the Dodge Throwback Series all the way back in, I believe it was 2017, the number 40 won the championship with Emmanuel Hartnett driving it. Fun fact right there. Tonight it's driven by Alexander Rowe, who has gone off this year on the wins list. 22 career wins on the channel, excuse me. It's Troxel who has 25. That's what I'm remembering that from. Alexander Rowe, 22 career wins, can make it 23 tonight, can make it 24 tomorrow. We'll see what he can do in his 4th Thanksgiving 500. We got our boy Nathan Staples in there in the 97. Another driver who was in the very first running of this race back in 2015. His 8th running of the Thanksgiving 500. And, of course, we're excited to see what he can do there. Starting 4th, with the number 28 machine, that is Bradley Ream in his 3rd Thanksgiving 500 to the inside of the 88, driven by Chase McClure in his first ever running of this race. The number 71, that is Kobe Light, first ever running in the Thanksgiving 500 for Kobe Light, alongside the 43 machine of Brian Webb in his third Thanksgiving 500. We got the 02 machine, that is Avery Alford in the 02 for the third year in a row, his third running of this race. And the 24 this year is Ryan Durrani, seventh time for Ryan Durrani in the Thanksgiving 500. He is a veteran of this race and has actually had some pretty successful runs in the past. We'll see if he can get a victory either tonight or tomorrow or both. We'll see if that ends up being the case. John Anders, another seven-time runner of the Thanksgiving 500. He was also in the first one back in 2015. This is seventh running of this race alongside the 32 of Brennan Wilmington. His sixth straight Thanksgiving 500. His very first start on the channel was this race. I believe it was 2020 when he was runner-up. Only one career win on the channel for Brennan Wilmington. That was the Indianapolis 250 earlier this year. We'll see if he can get another crown jewel race tomorrow. Number 42, that's Rashia Mahendra in their first Thanksgiving 500 to the inside of the 00 of Andrew Williams. Of course, you know, they got this whole thing between Andrew Williams and Tyler Jericho. We'll see if they get together tomorrow. We separated them for tonight in these qualifiers. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Andrew in his third running of this Thanksgiving 500. He's done the odd years, 21, 23, and 25. Speaking of 25, there is the number 25 of Angel Gutierrez, the 2023 Thanksgiving Indianapolis 250 champion. And he is going to be in his third Thanksgiving 500 tomorrow, alongside the 75 of Matthew Hall, first ever running in the Thanksgiving 500 for him. We got the number 60 machine, that car driven by Stuart Gratton and Nicholas Samadeo. Stuart Gratton, the only two drivers in this field with 9 career starts in this race. And Stuart, of course, his best finish was third 4 years ago. I know he'd love to get this one. He's been a part of it for many, many years. And he is starting there in the number 60 alongside the 21 machine, which is the car number that he used to drive all the time. That's Jeffrey Finguy in his first ever Thanksgiving 500. You got the number 7 machine of Emily York Watson in her first Thanksgiving 500. And she is to the inside of Brad Stover in his fourth Thanksgiving 500 with Daisy Johnson starting in 21st. And Caleb, you gave up your eye for this race so that Matt Tuck could have Daisy Johnson once again in the number 14 for her fourth Thanksgiving 500. So we thank you. Matt Tuck thanks you. Daisy Johnson thanks you. Everyone thanks you because Daisy Johnson in the Thanksgiving 500 has been a more recent tradition of this race, and she got a pretty good run a couple years ago, finishing runner-up in 2023. So we'll see what she can do here tonight. All right, enough talking. Let's get these guys to roll off here for the second qualifier of the night in the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. And of course, if you're Matthew Hubert, Caleb, you know that it is a very tall task to go back and win this race again. Nobody has won the Thanksgiving 500 more than once before. But Hubert's got a shot at doing so, and he's a great driver. We know he's got the capabilities of doing so. Do you think he might have a shot at winning tonight, or will it be somebody else winning qualifier number 2 here tonight from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway?
I mean, I think Hubert definitely might have a shot there in the number 26. He has looked fast so far this season. He's done really well so far this season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series. Right now up there in the championship fight. But honestly, for the race win, I look a couple rows back. Honestly, I think I'm going to go for a bit of a dark horse here. I'm going to pick number 71 of Kobe Light to get it done here in qualifier number 2. Of course, this is his first attempt here at the Thanksgiving 500. Like you said, this race honestly kind of tends to be a little bit favorable to some rookies here on the channel. So I'll definitely watch out maybe potentially for that 71 of Kobe Light to get it done.
Of course, this is a racetrack, just like you said, that does favor those drivers who are relatively new. Kobe Light, of course, not a true rookie to the channel, but a lot of the newbies have found a lot of success here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway, and of course, it's just a wild racetrack as well, and I think that just favors those guys who haven't really had the experience to know what a racetrack like this can do to you, and we saw that take place in the first qualifier. Of course, if these guys go caution-free, they're going to get the inside lane, and whoever wins this second qualifier will win the pole for the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. But if we do get a wreck, then it could get a little bit interesting, and the time that they have to beat, it was set by Josh Marzak there, in the first qualifier is 162.986 miles per hour. They got to beat that average if they want the inside lane to start for tomorrow morning's Thanksgiving 500. Well, as you see, we got the frame rate back to where it needs to be, so better quality production now. So your eyes aren't going all over the place anymore. My eyes were going all over the place. It was frustrating, but we're back. We'll have to see how this one goes. It's going to be a lot of fun here for our second qualifier of the night. Here for the Thanksgiving 500, Matthew Hubert and Duncan Ward on the front row. Here to lead us off for 10 more laps at Coca-Cola. Already you got the 42 machine, Rashi Mahendra going to the inside lane. Of course, that inside lane, as I mentioned, is where you want to be. You do not want to be stuck 4 wide on the outside because you can get up in the gray and just shoot up. You got the 00 Andrew Williams already up there, Stuart Gratton already up there. And even on this first lap, sometimes we see those guys hit that outside wall in the first corner. Nobody did that time, but already 4 wide for the race lead. As the 40 machine of Alexander Rowe got to the inside of Matthew Huber. You got Kobe Light right there in the 71. You got the 02 of Avery Alford going 4 wide for second. And Stapleton and Hubert in the outside wall. And they've got to be careful coming off the corner here. Got the 28 also in the outside wall as well. But they keep it. Nope, they don't.
No, they don't.
Now, will this be a caution? Because that's in the pit lane. That is Andrew Williams. And the 42 of Rashia Mahendra. But no caution. They're going to keep it together. And that's going to be good news for whoever wins this race, because they may end up starting on the pole for tomorrow's Thanksgiving 500. But again, on the first lap, a spin going into the pit lane. At least this time they went into the pit lane and didn't hit the attenuator. But that's going to be it for Andrew Williams and Rashi Mahendra in their attempts to start up front for tomorrow's race.
Tough break there, definitely, for Williams and Mahendra going around now for turn number 4. Oh, speaking of 4 wide up here for the race lead, despite the fact that might have kind of spread everybody out a little bit. We still got a lot of guys racing up here aggressively as a row, getting to the outside wall along with Avery Alford. Everybody keeping it together for now. They almost didn't.
That was Alford and the 28 machine of Bradley Reen that got into it there, and I thought I saw some debris come off of that one. My goodness, that was wild. Here comes Ryan Durante to the inside. That is the 7 machine there of Emily York-Watson, started in the back of this field, and she's been going off in the Lenovo Pro Series as of late. She may end up winning that championship here in a couple of weeks, so she's excited to get some more racing under her belt here in this one. How about Stuart Gratton there in the 21 on that inside lane? They're led now by the 88 of Chase McClure. 1 career win on the channel, looking for win number 2 here tonight. Number 88 out front currently here on lap number 3, but we've kept this thing green so far. 43 in the outside wall there, Brian Webb. But at the rate we're going right now, whoever wins this race is going to win the pole for the Thanksgiving 500 tomorrow, and that's going to be a huge honor to start up front in the 11th running of this race.
Kept it green here so far. I think clean at this point is probably all the way out in the left field, but the most important part still is that we have had no caution in this race so far, and the average speed right now staying at 212 miles an hour. And at this race, this is the fight for the pole as Kobe Light dives to the inside of the 88 of Chase McClure and the 7 of Emily York-Watson. Watson falls back in line behind the 88, and the Light will fall in behind the 7, although they fan back out here as we head through 3 and 4. Watson back down to the inside of McClure, and they're going to catch the 75 of Matthew Hall. We're going to have lap traffic here in this race.
And something happened to the 75 of Matthew Hall. He's right now the last car on the lead lap, and he's not going to be on the lead lap for much longer as Chase McClure got held up. And how about the 25 of Angel Gutierrez coming out of nowhere? Where did he come from? Take the race lead away right there. They're all jammed up behind the 75.
Be careful.
Nobody getting in the outside wall right now. How about the 66 machine here? Brad Stover. How about John Andrews? Another one of these guys who was in the very first running of this race 10 years ago. It's the 10-year anniversary of this race, the first running of the Thanksgiving 500 back in 2015, which was won by Sergio Alonso. Decided to retire after last year. This is actually the ride that Alonso pretty much always ran in this race. Is Stuart Gratton runs around with Alexander Rowe. They're in the pit lane. Will this be a yellow? It will. Now it will. Now we've got our yellow flag. Durrani hit the wall. Oh, my.
Oh, that's going to change things.
Now, I believe that the number 42... No, I believe they crossed the line. Is it the 42 who's out front right now? Who is the race leader? Where are they? There they are. They're catching back up the Kobe Light. They did, in fact. No, they didn't.
Actually, I think some cars did not. They're 66 and the 60, I think, are battling it out for the lead right now.
I think you're right. So you do have Stuart Grattan in the 60 machine. I apologize. I thought Stuart Grattan was in the 21 because he's been in the 21 for so many years in this race. It's actually Jeffrey Finguy who's in the 21. It is, in fact, Stuart Grattan who's out front right now in the 60 machine with the 66 there of Brad Stover in second, and then the 7 of Emily York Watson is third with Angel Gutierrez and John Andrews. So my apologies to Jeffrey Finguy on that one. That car, that ride is essentially synonymous with Stewart in this race, but he's not in it this year. Looks like Finguy did get in the outside wall just a little bit right there, so I would like to extend my sincerest apologies for mixing that up. We're getting all the kinks out now. Now, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be a 2-lap caution as well, so it's going to be the same length. These guys ran it all the way back, so we're going to restart. I think we're going to restart with 1 lap to go, actually, because it's lap 7 now. Not be 2. It's going to be 2 laps to go. They're waiting to catch up to the pace car, waiting for the pace car to catch up to them. Tough break for Ryan Durrani and Alexander Rowe in that situation. Durrani's going to be out of the race, and just like Mauricio Vevelis hit the pit road wall, so that's 2 qualifiers in a row that has happened. Matthew Hall's a lap down, but he's going to gain a couple of spots in the starting order from that. Alexander Rowe in the 40 machine is still in the race. And then the 42 machine of Rashia Mahendra and the 00 of Andrew Williams, of course, they were caught up in that first accident. I completely forgot about that. And they're going to be at the back of the field here to restart. But I actually do not think they lost the lead lap. So they may still have a shot at really moving up in the field. And maybe, just maybe, if things get really crazy in these last 2 laps, having a shot at winning. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Let's see what happened to bring out the caution here in qualifier number 2. And we'll restart with 2 laps to go here in qualifier number 2 of the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. Well, the same thing that we saw in qualifier number 1. As I already apologized, this is not Stuart Grattan, but rather Jeffrey Finguy in the number 21, getting up into the outside wall, and it's Ryan Durrani getting into him just enough. And Alexander Rowe, an innocent victim in this one, and Durrani going to hit this inside wall pretty hard. At this point, the caution had yet to come out. And both Durrani and Alexander Rowe, we're going to probably drive through the pit lane. Durrani had lost control of the car until that point, it seems, and I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. 2 qualifiers and 2 cars hitting the pit road wall head on. That is quite an accomplishment. But that right there triggering the yellow flag, and Ryan Durrani going to be out of this race in the number 24. Alexander Rowe will be able to continue, however, in the number 40.
Watching here once again, like you mentioned, kind of just the same thing as the first qualifier. Durrani just gets into the 21 of Jeffrey Finguy, slams into the inside wall, and unfortunate there for the 40 of Alexander Rowe, and just kind of got it gathered up and I guess tried to get onto the racing surface once again, maybe just misjudged it. But regardless, 24 Ryan Durrani gets into the attenuator, and that is going to bring out the caution flag. And the interesting part about this is that some cars were able to take the caution flag, some were still racing back, including the 60 of Stuart Grattan and the 66 of Brad Stover, and that's definitely going to make things interesting, especially just with this caution flag as a whole. It's going to pretty much put us on the same level as qualifier number 1, so the average speed, which are qualified for the inside and outside rows, could definitely get pretty tight here once everything is said and done.
Well, Stuart Grattan ended up getting that pass made coming to the line, so great move there, and we missed it, and we apologize for that as well. I had totally forgotten that Rashia Mahendra and Andrew Williams were on the tail end after the wreck that happened on lap 1. Stuart Grattan's your race leader in the number 60 here at the Coca-Cola Superspeedway for qualifier number 2 of the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. We're back here at the Thanksgiving 500 qualifier night. Bit of a demo night for all these guys and myself. I shouldn't be that way. I've been calling these races for 10 years. If I make a mistake, I make a mistake. So what?
Hey, we're in it for the fun.
Yeah, we're in it for the fun at this point. You know, I've been doing this. You know, we had that 10th anniversary race. I feel like everything that comes after that is just icing on the cake of what this has been, what this community has meant for me. So thank you, of course, to everyone watching and being a part of this for so long. Stuart Gratton's one of those guys in the number 60 who has been here since the beginning. And he's looking to win this qualifier here tonight, get his 20th career win on the channel as a driver. He's at 19 wins right now. He could get number 20 here tonight. He also could get number 21 if he wins this and then wins later on in the Coca-Cola 100K. That's going to be a lot of fun. Out of the race includes Ryan Durrani. And that's it. 75 and Matthew Hall's a lap down. Everybody else still on the lead lap, including Rashia Mahendra and Andrew Williams, who got caught up in that first accident that did not bring out a caution. They managed to stay on the lead lap. And they got a shot at moving up in the field and having a good starting position for tomorrow's Thanksgiving 500. Stuart Gratton. You got the 66 machine of Brad Stover, Emily York Watson, Angel Gutierrez, John Andrews. That's the top 5 with 2 laps to go in qualifier number 2 of the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. John Andrews
for all the marbles right here.
And here comes Brad Stover looking to make a move. What we saw in qualifier number 1, you did not want to be the race leader. A lot of those race leaders ended up getting put in the outside wall at some point. Gutierrez slipping back in the 25. Here comes Brennan Wilmington in the 32 machine. Of course, another ride that's been synonymous with the drivers, the number 90. That used to always be Brennan Wilmington's ride. He's now in the 32 for this race this year. He may have a shot at this race victory, but we're coming to the white flag, and it's Brad Stover out front. Stuart Gratton, oh, he slipped up, and here comes John Andrews for the second position. And we're going to have ourselves a great battle of the finish here. And watch out for that average miles per hour. They got to beat 168. It's going to be kind of hard to do that. 162, excuse me, in order to get that inside lane. So they got to get 4 miles per hour on an average here on this last lap. We'll see if they do it. Brad Stover still out front. Here comes the 88 machine of Chase McClure. Kobe Light's here. How about the 17? Haven't talked about Duncan Ward pretty much all race. And for the race lead, Stuart Gratton just got around Brad Stover.
Gratton to the lead here down the back straightaway. Stover trying to stick with him, and he's got a full pack behind him. Here comes the 88 of Chase McClure with a run down the back straightaway with help from the 71 of Kobe Light. Does he have anywhere to go?
Oh,
here in 3
boy.
and 4. Yes, he does. He goes to the inside.
We'll see if Stewart can get a run on the outside. He's not going to be able to do so. Chase McClure takes the race lead on the final lap. Here comes Kobe Light in the 71, but it's Chase McClure who's going to win qualifier number 2. And oh my goodness.
Oh, that's going to be close.
833 to a 986.
Oh,
Josh
my
Marzak
goodness.
has won the pole for the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. And it will be Chase McClure starting on the outside pole tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
It comes down to the 10th. Wow.
It was close. Well, Caleb, I say we had some fun tonight. Fun's not over. Still got the Coca-Cola 100K coming up in the Body Armor Pro Series. We've been looking forward to that race for a long time. That'll be at 9 p.m. Eastern Time tonight. And, of course, tomorrow, in less than 14 hours, we'll be taking the green flag in the 2025 Thanksgiving 500. We're going to see Josh Marzak lead us to the green flag alongside Chase McClure. What are you looking forward to tomorrow in the 50-lap special event? The 11th running of the Thanksgiving 500.
And what is there to not look forward to in tomorrow's race? Absolutely kicked it off with a bang here tonight in the qualifier races. That was absolutely a blast. And definitely have to give a congratulations to Chase McClure in the 88 there for winning qualifier number 2. Great stuff there for him in his second win here on the channel. But, oh boy, definitely really building up for the main event tomorrow. And man, like I said, what's not there to look forward to there for the Thanksgiving 500? Year in and year out, it's always just such a fun event, and definitely cannot wait to see how it all plays out tomorrow afternoon. It's going to be so much fun, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see who walks away with the victory here in the 10-year anniversary of this great race.
It's going to be a blast. We're going to have you in the booth. Hope to have Andrew as well tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on AEG, the channel, a Thanksgiving tradition, the Thanksgiving 500. So Josh Marzak and Chase McClure will be in row number 1. Row number 2, we'll see Tanner Parton and Kobe Light. Row 3, we'll see Marcus Glitch and Stuart Gratton. Row 4, we'll see Bernardo de Oliveira and Brendan Wilmington. Row 5, we'll see Zachary Fitzwater and Brian Webb. Row 6, we'll see Max Davis and Duncan Ward. Row 7, we'll see Isaac Nichols and Daisy Johnson. Row 8, we'll see Nicholas Sambadio and Brad Stover. Row 9, we'll see Marcus De Jesus and John Andrews. Row 10, we'll see Justin Zidell and Bradley Reen. Row 11, we'll see Thomas Troxel and Emily York-Watson. Row 12, we'll see Ace Garcia and Nathan Stapleton. Row 13, we'll see Bryce Egan and Rashia Mahendra. Row 14, we'll see Tyler Jericho and Andrew Williams. Oh boy, we tried to separate them. We tried to separate them, and there they are in the same row tomorrow morning. That's going to be fun. Row 15 awesome. Is going to be Eric Monaco and Angel Gutierrez. Row 16 will be Bibi Ruiz and Avery Alford. Row 17 will be Carson Miller and Jeffrey Fingang. Row 18 will be Sarah Taylor and defending Thanksgiving 500 champion Matthew Hubert. Row 19 will be Jack Haas and Alexander Rowe. Row 20 will be Matt Black and Matthew Hall. And row 21 will be Mauricio Vebalist and Ryan Durrani. That any of these 42 guys can win tomorrow. 50 laps, a couple of pit stops. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see who gets the race victory in the 11th running of the Thanksgiving 500. So Caleb, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Thank you all for putting up with me and, I don't know, just everything that I did wrong here tonight, but y'all probably didn't even notice it, so I need to stop talking about that. But hey, we're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow morning, and we're going to have a lot of fun in about 20 minutes as well, because we got ourselves the Coca-Cola 100K in the Body Armor Pro Series. That's going to be an excellent race to see if goes to victory lane and see how that championship battle shakes out in the Pro Series here from Coca-Cola. Only 4 races left to go over there for those guys, and tonight's race is going to be crucial towards the championship, and really is going to swing the championship in one way or another, because it's going to determine the starting lineup for the next race in Martinsville, which will just spiral on to the finale at Homestead. And if you don't have a good race tonight, you may not win the championship. That's just about all there is to it. So tune in here in about 20 minutes for the Body Armor Pro Series here from the Coca-Cola Superspeedway. It's going to be a good one. Thank you, Caleb, for joining me here tonight. You'll hear Caleb's voice tomorrow morning as well. And congratulations to Josh Marzak and Chase McClure in their respective race victories. Josh Marzak will start on the pole for tomorrow's Thanksgiving 500. Happy early Thanksgiving to all of you out there, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for the 11th running of this race. I will see you guys later.